everybody, welcome back to Closing Circle. This is just a chance really. It's not got anything we have to achieve during it, but it's an opportunity to either check in with how you're feeling about what's gone on, or share any headlines, any news that's come out. That might be some next action steps. There might be something you're taking away to do that we might like to hear about, or it might just be any observations or revelations that have come out of any of the sessions or the day as a whole. So it's quite open really. And this is a talking stick, so it's going to go round like a coach. When you have it, you can talk, and it's equally fine to pass it on and not say anything. The silence is also useful. We'll have some thoughts of our own. So I'm going to go this way.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. It's been a really interesting day, engaging so many different people about so many different things. It's so nice to have that kind of so many shared common interests to talk about things we all go through. So yeah, I felt it was just a really kind of healthy community day, which is really great.
Thank you. Echo that. Yes, good to enrich the dome, I found.
Just a small little thing, because it's not actually a microphone, if you could just remember to speak.
I feel really excited about musicals, and that there's some amazing stuff that's going to come out of this room. And just to thank everyone, especially who came to our last session. It's just amazing to have a book writer, a lyricist, a composer, a performer, a producer all in one space. So hooray and well done, and keep talking. Thank you. Oh, and my report will be up when I get home tonight. I didn't get a chance to do that.
Yeah, what an interesting day. Learned a lot of things I wasn't expecting to learn about, and had some really interesting conversations that I wasn't expecting to have. And yeah, it's nice to see a bunch of people who are all like driven to make this, you know, to find better ways of connecting musical theatre.
I called a session at the beginning on how can we develop better ways for writers and producers to meet and work together. And it was great because in that session there were writers and producers, so we heard from both sides of the fence. And one of the things, lots of good things came out of it. One really good thing came out of it, which was a general agreement that we want more producers in this industry. So if anyone is interested in being a producer or knows people that might, and they might come from a different background, they might come from a marketing background, a business background, maybe even outside the industry needs more producers, and particularly those who are going to work with us, new writers. And in the last session, which I was in with Sarah, I'm a book writer. We were discussing why is it the book that fails in a musical? So a request out there to all you composers and lyricists, please find opportunities to work with book writers, and that way I think that what a book writer does will become more obvious, and it will be great for collaboration.
I think the biggest thing about today is realising that everybody's trying to do the same thing, really. We all love musical theatre and we're all trying to do new things. But when I called the session, how do we fund new experiments in musical theatre, nobody turned up really. So it is a lot harder to get things going due to the money aspects, but we can do it. I know we can do it because we've got people who love it, who are here. So it's been a great session for me.
If only we all had a money tree, make our lives easier. It was a great day, good talks, and I think one of the conclusions of this session I attended the first round was, well, look broader than London, look broader than the UK, because the world is full with people who love music.
Yeah, really good day. Nice to feel part of the community or tribe. Like that, I think is really nice to remember that every time everyone gets together. A bit brain dead now, but I think in a good way. So, yes.
let's celebrate musical theatre. We've quite often put ourselves on the back foot and say, oh, why are there all these people who say they don't like musicals? Why is it so difficult to get musicals on? Without musical theatre, British theatre couldn't survive financially. We should be proud of what we do.
Echoing that, I think it's easy to get stuck in particular echo chambers of talking to people you already know in the sector, and it's great to be reminded that there are loads of people that are really passionate about working on musical theatre and have huge wealths to contribute that are just sitting next door within the same subsector of a sector. So it's a great reminder to keep talking to other people that are working in the same field and to keep making connections with other people. Really great to meet some new people today, and thank you to Larder.
I was hoping for a simple answer. Quite a bit disappointed that we can't walk out with that fully answered. It's been really interesting to drop in and out of. I'm so glad that the reports have been done so that I can look and see what I've missed, because I've been jumping around trying to capture bits from each session, and it's impossible. It's impossible to get it all. So the fact that it's going to be online is perfect, because I'll go into that. Everything that I've done today in the capture here and the videos and the photography will be collated into one archive website, which will also link with the D&D website. So all of that will be available in the next couple of weeks. So if you have missed anything on the day, you'll be able to go to that website and we'll send that out to everybody's email address. You'll be able to go and see what you've missed as well and what you remember. Thank you.
I'm talking into the microphone. some fascinating stuff, mostly when we weren't expecting, which I think is when the format of the day comes in. Just literally in conversations on the stairs or bumping into people and finding that that you were talking about something that you hadn't intended to talk about, and then following the thread, having the freedom to do that, to really some quite remarkable conclusions. So brilliant, thank you.
Didn't know how I was supposed to say.
You're in the room.
Sure, I've been walking around the room. I've listened to some bits and pieces. It's really interesting. I've had a couple of interesting chats with people. But some things I think weren't talked about from people who are brand new to things, who are starting off in the industry, with the assumption that people are already at a certain level or have a knowledge of how to get started or funding, or you say people need new producers, but how do you get them to become one or be able to support themselves so that no one tells them that they can be one? So I agree with a lot of stuff people have said and things that are needed, but the interested to hear from people who are like sort of just below you guys who want to strive to be you. So interesting from my point of view.
Reports, please do them. If you didn't get a chance to do them today, you can do them on our website from your computer at home. Here are some things about how to do it. Just to reassure you of this 2-page document, creating a report is only one paragraph complicated. The rest of this piece of paper is all the other things that our website does that will help you to connect to each other and to keep the conversations going. Please make use of it. It's a totally free resource. There's about 5,000 members of it, people with profiles on it, so there's just a huge amount of expertise, knowledge, and an archive that now goes back 12 years. So I'm going to just put these by the door or something, so if you want to do your reports at home, grab one of these. And there might not be enough to pass all the way around, but this also exists on the website. If you go to the About D&D, it's linked right at the top of that section, is that PDF.
If you give them to Daisy, she'll have them at the door.
Yeah, and you might not have called a session, that doesn't mean you can't write a report. If you'd like to just do a report on how the day was for you, that's totally valid. There's no rules about what a report should or shouldn't be on, or whether you are or aren't allowed to do one. So if you've got anything you'd like to share, please do one. And just by creating a profile, that means that you can go and comment on other people's reports. You can click a little thing that says, I was there at that session, and you can keep in touch with each other. You can direct message each other. So it's really, really worth taking the time to go through our slightly tiresome registration process and create yourself a profile. It's a great resource. Thank you very much for having us. It's been lovely.
And thank you all for a really interesting day. It's been a fascinating discussion, and I've had a good time. So thanks for the organisation as well. It's terrific. Really.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from those lots of great ideas, and I've really enjoyed everyone's passion as well for what they're doing. So that's been probably one of the most exciting parts of the day.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed sitting in on different sessions. I've been the one doing all the tweeting from the Larder account today. I'm very much at the start of my knowledge with musical theatre, thanks to living with this one. And I think every time I sit with knowledgeable people, I start to get more of an appreciation of the craft. And so yeah, thanks for pooling all this knowledge together and making my head go whoa in a good way.
Yeah, so it was really exciting. I feel like sometimes events like this, a lot of people come together and will talk about how little money there is everywhere. So it was nice today to talk about other things aside from that sometimes. And I'd just like to encourage everybody that if you talk about something today, actually go and use that knowledge to do something instead of just allowing it to sit there. And it's good gaining knowledge, but it's also better to actually go and use it and put it into practice.
I feel really satisfied from this because Anna was coming in on the tube. I'd written down sort of 4 questions that I had in my head, and I've had sort of answers and ideas from people on all 4 of those questions. So yeah, it's really good and really well organised as well. I thought it might be awkward, like people being in groups and moving about, but it's been great.
Thanks, Jen.
I learned that it's got to start with the book, and the book has to be good. I'll remember that
Just I guess a couple of things. One, coming in from the outside from the music sort of world into the musical theatre world, I actually find the musical theatre world incredibly welcoming, and I don't know if that's because I come from the folk world, which you'd think would be, but actually it's quite insular. So it's actually really lovely to have a really open discussion about stuff. And actually I should quickly pitch the fact that I'm involved with the BML presentation of new work this Sunday at the Arts Theatre, which is a BML fundraiser for new musical theatre work. So if you are around and you want to come along, please come along. I think it's 5 o'clock. But yeah, no, just say thank you very much. It's been really interesting, and I think there are lots of different levels. I think that's the key thing for me, that just because you're not the big West End, maybe you don't want to go there, and there are lots of other things that you can go for.
It's just been brilliant to be in a room with loads of other people who are passionate about the same thing that I am. It's been really mind-opening, really. There's lots of really fascinating discussions about all sorts of things that I don't think I would have ever considered.
It's been a really interesting day. Thank you all very much. At points, far too interesting for me to actually film what was going on, which was quite nice. So it's good that you're doing reports, because there are big gaps throughout the day. But it's great, and actually, personally, it was great to see open space being used very closely to its original form. So I've only ever done it with you to do tiny shows, and actually a couple of which I think, funnily enough, not to create some sort of time vortex loop weird thing, might be part of an answer to that question. I don't know if the structure of today might actually be a thing, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm in any way have profound thoughts about anything, but just thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, and the open space idea has been really interesting. I spend a lot of time at conferences and other such events, and they are not like this, I can assure you. So that's been really interesting, and it's great just to meet people in the industry who do slightly different jobs. So,
yeah, it's the best kind of room, a room full of love.
Yeah, room full of love. Today's a big day for me. It's my first day back after having a baby, and it's just been a pleasure to share it with guys who are so passionate and intelligent conversation. So thank you for having me back. Thank you.
I get very emotional about that now. I have to say something. Yeah, thanks so much for coming along and being amazing and passionate and sharing and being open, and that's just really, really exciting for me. if I could, I would have this every day. I would just work in this environment and have an open invitation to everyone to just come. In fact, the next thing the Larder is doing is the Larder at the Old Nun's Head, which is a pub in Nunhead that I live near, and I live. He's not wrong. And I said, look, I just want to be in residence here, and they said okay. So I will let you guys know what the hell that is when I figured it out. But essentially, I think it's just an open space invitation to come into the room and bring your questions and things you want to do or give or ask for or whatever. And I think that's a thing. But I'll be posting in the Larder about it. So that's my thing. Improbable, who I am allowed to big up because I'm not an improbable, are completely amazing at what they do to support the community, the theatre community in this country. You can help them and support them in return in many ways. Daisy's holding a box of those, whoever comes are the right people, the principles that are on the wall up there. Those are tiny little credit card sized versions of them which are adorable, and you can buy them for $5 and support Improbable in that way, and also go on their website and give them donations if you fancy it, because they give us huge things. They have a big D&D which this year is happening in Bristol in January on the
14th to 16th.
It's a whole 3-day event which I cannot recommend strongly enough. It's the full theatre community, not just about musicals, but everyone. Please come. Also Bristol is awesome. And what else am I saying about Improbable that's important? Give them money.
With
Give them
hire
love.
also.
Oh, they're for hire. So we did this as a D&D event because I love D&D with every fibre of my being, but they also do, you don't have to be associated with D&D events. So what I did was, I'm a normal person who asked the Arts Council for some money and then I hired Improbable. You can also do that. And if you would like to do that about anything you're passionate about, I will help you for free. Yay.
Thank you. While we're plugging, we're doing our show Life Game for 2 nights in a double bill with a community elders piece, and it has improvised songs in it, so it's kind of making a link. Anyway, so the cockpit, end of November, you can look it up. Thank you everyone. It's been a really lovely place to spend a day.
Jessie didn't do closing.
Oh,
to do closing. It's been very interesting.
You've done it now. Thank you everyone for your enthusiasm and energy today. Somebody said, you said there aren't any simple answers. Well, yes, there really are there? But I think there probably are, like somebody else said, some simple kind of next steps, simple actions everyone can take away. So just cling on to those. Was it gentleman over here said to me, I was expecting something like, I'm paraphrasing you, said something like, I'm surprised there hasn't been any singing. It's an event about musical theatre.
Yes.
No one's sung anything yet. So there wasn't, we didn't do any spontaneous singing. However, I did manage to listen to a little bit of the work of all of the composers here. So just a reminder that they're there as you're on your way out. If you haven't had a listen, do just check them out. I think that's everything. I'm going to ring my bells just to close the space.
Well, just before that musical event, would those composers' works be linkable on the website so we could find them on SoundCloud
Yes,
or wherever?
absolutely.
Is that a thing?
They'll be linked from the archive.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to say anything before I close the space? Thank you, the Larder.
Thank you.
You are the Larder, so thank you.
Thanks everyone. There we go.
Very nice.
Thank you.